All right. All for one. It's funny, huh? Everyone
Why are you so
today.
happy? I'm
eh,
exhausted already.
All for
Exhausting over here.
one. Everyone says today all for one. We gotta get to the bottom of this. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the great transition. I thought I should do the official welcoming, Seth.
Okay,
I hope you
welcome.
approve.
Welcome, everybody. Well, I'm going to try and get my energy back. I have a coffee here and a kombucha drink. I have all my
Ooh, coffee and kombucha.
food.
Does it go together though?
Bro, I got coffee, kombucha, and water. I'm trying anything. I'm trying anything that's permitted on the show. Maybe I'll
All
do
right.
whiskey next time.
I'm still
Okay,
I,
you
I'd
get
love to
us you
do
get us started.
I'd love to do it with you. I got to do the water thing for a long time now. Just water, plain water. Anyway,
I'm
we
trying to
have
drink like
people.
almost three. Hold on a second. I'm trying to drink. I put a little apple cider vinegar in there. I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to drink like 2 to 3 of these full things a day. This is my second one today.
Oh, I did the ACV routine for a long time actually. It's yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
we'll get there.
stay tuned for our
Um
show on health and nutrition
yeah.
live at 5.
We have
Okay.
folks already connected from Toronto and Quebec and Spain and California and Utah and Egypt and Libya and Bangalore.
Ahmed?
Um, what from Libya? Who was it
Yeah.
from Libya? Yes, that's Ahmed. Hey there.
Nice. Hey.
Um, yeah, I lost my flow here, but Dallas, Texas is here as well. Jacksonville, Florida is here. Wales, yeah,
Kiko here
more
from Egypt.
Washington State.
And
Yes, Kiko
Amy
from
from
Egypt is
Quebec.
here.
Yetzi Jaeger from Netherlands.
Yes.
Ring-
Tell us, keep telling us where you're watching from. At some point in the show, we'd like to do this kind of global check to see how far reaching our connection is. We are here for all of those who feel deep down that something big and unprecedented is happening in the world, is happening in humanity, and you want to get to the bottom of this. You want to see how it's possible for us to look at ourselves as one global human species and where is nature pushing us. That's what we're trying to figure out. And we might get dirty a little bit and talk about current affairs and all kinds of mundane things like that. But really, our goal is to take you higher, to zoom in order to zoom out, to dive deep in order to see the bigger picture. That's what we're kind of trying to do here. How's that, Seth? Do you approve of this message?
I approve of
I'm
this
Seth
message.
Brightman, and I
Yes.
approve of this message.
Yeah, I approve this message. I am not a democratically elected leader. And I approve, although I have the same message as them, apparently. Unity.
Apparently, isn't it? Isn't it so, huh? Yeah. Let's nail that. What's go
Yeah,
so
I'm different than you. You're very pragmatic. Your brain works well. You really organize things. I, put on. I'm not super sappy, but like if something's done well and delivered well, I'm like, oh, it really like plays on my emotional strings.
mm,
Even if I know it's like all BS, sometimes I can still fall into it a little bit. Not like a after school Hallmark special, not something that's like, but
it's
if it's done
because
really, really well.
it's
But
because you're yeah, you're
because
you
I'm a
know.
what?
Yeah.
Okay, so uh, anyway, this speech by the new president of the United States yesterday. Um, if I closed my eyes, first of all, I wanted to kind of vomit when I was listening to it, but if I close my eyes, I listened to it again today, and I'll explain why I wanted to vomit later. But
Yeah,
when I
explain that.
closed,
Explains
hold on,
it
when
in a nonpartisan way, please. Yeah, okay, go
okay,
ahead.
yeah, in
Go
a
ahead.
nonpartisan way, I felt like vomiting when I heard it. But today, I listened to it again in preparation for the show, in double speed on YouTube. But in double speed, it was better. I didn't feel like vomiting, but I'm in, man. I'm in. I love the message. I think it's a great message. We all need to unify from both sides of the, whether you're Republican or Democrat, or whether you're this color or that color, or whether you I want to fight for everybody, whether you voted for me or not. I want unity for everyone. I want everyone to be good in the whole country, depending on your rich. Any, I mean, any politician could have said that. I mean, that was like
Yeah,
about if you ran,
of
what
course,
I heard,
of
that
course.
I heard that there's kids now that want, children who want plastic surgery to look like the Instagram filters,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay,
Hmm.
basically those Instagram filters. And the same thing with pop music and everything now, and the same thing like McDonald's when they make the French fries, they know
Yeah,
exactly, there's a certain number of parameters, like you have salt, you have fatty, you have crunchy,
right.
you have certain parameters, and if you hit the, just like, we do the color on my face here with the different things, if you
Yeah,
hit the right parameters on the flavor, you win. Like, that's the French fry that, like, ding 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 ding,
yeah.
sets off all of the things.
I totally know
So
what
it's
you mean. Yeah,
okay, so it's the
yeah.
same thing with models and with all these things and with celebrities and stuff.
Yes.
There's a certain look depending on what's going on, and it hits all the receptors, ding 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 ding, like
Yeah,
that's it. So
yeah.
the speak, it's like they just put all of
They nailed the formula
they
basically. Yeah.
put the dictionary in the front of the algorithm machine and then pop out on the other side all of the ding 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 ding, the things that make everybody feel, but here's the thing, there's no method. There's no, okay, you want to unify everybody, okay, but for example, now my family came to this country, I'm third. My dad was born here, my grandpa was born here, my grandma, I have one grandparent who wasn't born here, but so basically my
Yeah,
grandparents, most of them,
get your mic closer to your face,
okay,
or take the gain a little bit up. I see that.
okay, um so you hear me now better?
Yeah.
Okay. So three of my four grandparents were born here. My mom's dad was the taxi driver, like just regular immigrants who came here, in the city. Um, Small apartment, downtown New York, regular immigrants to the United States. But everyone here is basically an immigrant. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but so nothing against immigrants, of course, because we're all immigrants here. Every single person except the Native American, American Indian is the only one who's not an immigrant who's here. But what happens now, because the population is so big and because we have like a unified way of, it was one thing if you lived in your village, but now everyone, all commerce, everything is mixed together. So now that immigration will reopen against, for example, in the United States, and not against immigration, just making a point. If you bring in different populations, okay, so now I live in suppose there's someone who's in Indiana, Illinois,
Okay.
wherever, Iowa, and it's 90% of the population there is Christian, and they have their churches there, and they have their special holidays, and school is off on certain days and whatever. And now all of a sudden you have 3,000 new people come from some war ravaged country, and we accept them here, and they come there, right? So which holidays will the children have off for school? Which history will you teach the children? What languages will you teach the children? It's not just to 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 just open the doors, right? What happens is when we're talking about, there's a lot of details in all of this. If you
Yeah.
have people from a different religion, what happens in a town for the last 150 years, 200 years, Christianity was the biggest religion. And
Hmm.
now, like, take like London, for example, or any of these countries where this is already happening. And now you have all of these immigrants there, which have a different religion. There's no problem with anyone's religion, but just what do you do? Like, what is that? Do those all become national holidays too? And what if you have another religion
So
too?
you're asking about how to integrate basically, how
I'm
to
not
co.
asking any question yet. I'm just putting things on the table. I'm unpacking, as you would say,
Okay. All right.
putting things out on the table. So when we're going to talk about unity, okay,
Mm-hmm.
unity means not that everybody agrees with me. Unity means we have a lot of different things going on here. We have a lot of organ systems in the body. We have lungs and
Mm-hmm.
an ass and a heart and a brain and all of these different things. They all have to somehow work together. If you're not gonna present to me a way, a method of how it's gonna happen, of what we can do, then you are going to fail like everyone else. And I haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
any I have not seen a presentation of a method
Yeah.
of
Like
how we're
what's your
going
proposal?
to
What's your,
unite.
yeah.
Yeah. You can
Yeah.
throw $1 trillion at the country, like you can just shotgun $1 trillion out at the country, and some of the little BBs inside the shotgun. You know the difference between a shotgun and like a rifle, of course. Like a rifle's like
Mm-hmm.
one bullet.
Yeah.
A shotgun, it's not as powerful, but it's like hundreds of little pellets. So you're going to hit something. Um, you'll hit something. I mean, stock market went up. Things will hopefully be a little bit better. But if we don't have a method, okay, fine. Let's take in all of your huddled masses. That's what it says on the Statue of Liberty. Like, give me your tired, give me your poor. Let's take them all. We got a lot of land here. We got a lot of land in America. We got a lot of food in America. We got a lot of money in America. Bring them. We got room for everyone. We can take care of everyone. How are we going to manage it, though? What is the
Mm-hmm.
process of managing unity? How do you make unity? We have a world, maybe you've seen this. Um, the Dutch, maybe I don't know if we talked about this. The Dutch government, it seems like they're resigning. The Italian government is kind of on the brink of collapse. There was like 300 politicians and police that got all mixed up with the mafia. Germany's Chancellor Angela Merkel stepping down. The entire cabinet of the Kuwaiti government. There we go. Thank you, Chris. The Kuwaiti government is resigning. The Estonian prime minister is resigning over a corruption scandal.
Right.
Belgium and France is dealing with this kind of immigration situation. Russian government, except for Putin. The Polish government. There we go. It's crazy what's
Did you
happening
say
right now.
Dutch? I heard Dutch as well.
Dutch also, the Dutch,
Yeah.
there was a whole scandal. It doesn't matter why. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter why.
Mm-hmm.
These systems are, it's
Yeah.
not enough to just give me this, take all the words of the dictionary and figure out which ones are going to hit my proper receptors and give me some speech that makes me feel good and show me my Hollywood singers, that make me feel good for a minute. And then
Yeah.
um, we have a problem on our hands, man. We have a serious problem because we need a method for how. I'm all about it. I love that speech. I love unity. I think that's the solution. But we
Let's first of all, let's just to be clear, if
okay, be
it
clear.
it doesn't matter who was there yesterday, even if it was Trump instead of Biden, he would be saying pretty much the
Same
same thing.
exact
You
speech.
you'd be getting, maybe you'd be getting like a different beginning, a different opener, a different ending, kind of different mannerism, but same thing. You'd get the same thing. Now is after we went all out war on each other and almost killed each other, for 4 years. Now, for a moment, the peak of the war is we're after the peak of the war. So let's talk about unity. Let's talk about healing. Let's talk about what other words are there. Love, light. You can find all the greatest, the best, the best adjectives and
The speech annoyed me at normal speed with
yeah.
all the inflections and everything, where they tried to make it where he tried to make it feel human and emotional, but just the words at double speed when you just kind of hear the words and the concepts.
Yeah.
I'm all in. I'm all in.
Okay, so so I think, okay, once we cleared that up, that it's just, this is clearly what politicians do, and that this is the time to like pander to the people and pet them with loving words and warm words that will basically, that now the question is really, first of all, what does unity really mean? Are we even close to understanding what that means correctly? What do people hear when they hear, the new president says, let's unite? What are they hearing? And what is he actually saying? Because if you take into account that every new president says that, every leader and every dictator also says similar things. Go to the, I don't want to make, so people will think that I'm making comparisons, but, from democratic leaders to authoritarian leaders, and everything in
Is it
between,
possible
you'll
that we
hear
can
words like that. Yeah.
is it
What?
possible that like we can have certain buttons in front of us and like every time we say things we can hit like the disclaimer button and across the bottom of the
Yeah.
screen it says Seth and Asaf are not actually
Yeah.
Democrats or Republicans or they love everybody
Yeah,
or
we need
whatever.
that button, man.
We need that because we
It's the
keep saying things that
producer.
people will.
The producer. We got to get the
I know. If
producer,
anyone
man.
knows a good producer, would you let us know? Because
Yeah.
there's so much we want to say, but we don't want to be misunderstood. So we're constantly um,
Yeah.
restraining ourselves. But if we could have
Restraining.
a producer who had like a couple like
Just
pre-scripted
buttons.
lines,
It's
every
just
time
a
we
few
say one of
buttons.
these
Yeah.
things, they can just push a button and it would say, they're not really, yeah. What they really mean is.
Okay. So, um, a new leader says, let's unite, is basically saying, let's unite around me. Let's unite around the win. Let's unite around, now I'm at the helm and I need to lead. And it's good for me that, everyone will now be united with me leading. And the kind of, and clearly, I don't think people even take it, except for you, who are, you're a sensitive guy, that, a poetic, sensitive guy that is, easily malleable by the written word. So except for you, I don't think people take it
Except for
seriously.
me and
I,
most of and half the country.
yeah, I don't think people really take it. I'm of the school of thought that thinks that I don't, that people are, they're over it. I don't think they take it too seriously. That's why, no one's really going to think about,
Have you been out of the house in
wow,
a few
this is new.
years? I mean, do you,
No, I'm
no,
kidding
it's
with you. I'm
people are
kidding.
so easily manipulated, man. I wish we were
Sure.
better manipulators so we could get more people to hear this message. People are
Okay.
easily manipulated.
Okay.
I'm
No,
studying
but
this every single day and I hear it and I'm still like, oh, I want it.
okay, let's not go to the people are manipulated tangent for a second. Let's just talk about the substance, right? What is the substance when we talk about unity? The premise is that unity isn't something, when leaders say it in their speeches and all that, it's like the premise is unity is not something that we actually need or can do something about in a methodic, systematic kind of way. Rather, we just, and it's also in the words there in the speech. You'll find it also in the previous president and the previous president and so on. It's like the approach to unity is, we just need to be more for each other. We just need to care more about each other. We just need to tolerate more, to be less indifferent, more caring, lend a hand.
I vote for
All
you. I
uh,
would vote for you. If the vote was now, I would
yeah,
vote for you.
but here's the problem. The problem is, you assume as a listener that for a second there you kind of feel like, yeah, we just need to do that. But we can't. Why haven't we, if it's so simple, why haven't we just done it so far? And why aren't we going to do it from the day after? What are we talking about here? This is saying, when every time you talk about unity, essentially you are talking about a dream world. You are talking about you're either posing an unrealistic expectation from the people who you're talking to, or you're just, it yourself that this is not realistic. I don't believe that the person who spoke the words believes the words. You know
I
what I'm
was
saying?
wondering, are
This
all
is
those people
the
up there
yeah.
like it's like when you say to
It's
your little 2-year-old, you make some promise, but you and your wife, like, hmm, we're just saying that. Is
exactly.
everyone on stage there know what
So
lying
so
pieces
here
of
is what I would here's how I would, what would work on me. Okay, this one won't. I don't know if it'll work on you. You would just like to hear the lovey-dovey speech.
yeah.
I'd work on a different speech. It'll go something like this. It'll be, listen, folks, listen carefully. We spent the last few 4 years and the last few months, especially leading up to this day, killing each other, like just trying to diminish and reduce and denigrate and degrade and humiliate each other to the ground. We can't even hear each other. We're at a point where we can't even tolerate the other color that represents the other side. We're at a point where we are so entrenched in our own thinking that we can't even recognize that there are other people with needs like ours. We're at a point where we are so locked into our own ideologies and our own self-aggrandizing thinking about our own way and our own direction, and we are right and ours is the truth, that we don't see anything besides that truth, and we want to silence every other opinion
Why should I
that
listen
doesn't
to
fall
Nazis? They're
to
Nazis. I'm not going to
so
listen to them. Don't make me listen to them. Don't tell me I should listen to them. They're Nazis.
so I would say I'm not kidding. This is what the speech. This
I'm
is
not kidding
how
either.
it started the
Why
speech.
should I listen to them? They're Nazis.
The
They're full of hate. They want to destroy the country. By the way, I'm talking. That's what the right says about the left, and that's what the left says about the right. So,
Right, but I'm playing the role of the president now. I'm giving the
and
speech
I'm
to the
playing the
people.
role of the people, saying to you, "How can you
Okay,
want me to agree with them? They're all Nazis."
right, but no, right now you're listening to the president's speech, so
Okay,
we
fine.
can't hear you.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. But I would
Basically,
start.
Brightman, shut up and
I would start with seriously. I'm totally serious here. I would start with just telling it like it is, and then I would say, okay, now you know what? That's what happens. This is what happens because we are human beings. We have this neural engineering within us. We have this. I'm looking for a different
yeah.
word.
Try not to use neural words. You're talking to the
Yeah,
big
yeah.
society.
We
Don't
have
use
this.
simple words. Brain.
Okay, okay. No, no, no. We have these. We've evolved with this survival instinct and with this with
We
these.
didn't evolve. God made us a few years ago.
No, we
Now,
can't
talk
hear
to
you
me in a
now.
way that everyone in the whole country can
We
understand.
what I said in the beginning was not understandable. How we feel about each other, how we want to
No,
just
that's true.
erase
Everybody
each other.
hates everybody.
Okay, so
Yes.
now
Okay.
my
That
next
part we
part,
agree.
my next
Okay.
my next part in the speech. Okay, this is where you're already a little bit more excited. Okay, and you're more reflective. So now I would say, look, this is how we are. We have evolved as human beings that have a very a powerful ego. Yes, egoism. That is a big part of who we are.
I'm not egoistic. They're
It's our
egoistic.
nature. No, no, no,
I'm not
no.
egoistic.
All of
They're
us.
egoistic.
No, right now you're listening to the president.
Okay, fine, fine.
This is the purpose of a
Shouting
speech. The
at the
speech
TV,
speech
basically.
is one side. It's not a discussion. You can shout at the
Okay,
TV,
okay,
but you'll
okay.
be. We are who we are. That's our nature. And you know what? If we want to start figuring out how to live together in a better way, in a kind of atmosphere that doesn't feel like you're always struggling and fighting and battling the other side,
Then we need to
then
kill the other ones.
that then okay, then if that's where you're going, if that's where
No,
you're
not
going
kill.
with it,
Not kill. Not that
then
bad. Maybe just lock them all up and silence them.
so I would say if we want to coexist, if we want to have a better life here, we exactly can't do that. We just can't. It's not gonna work. It doesn't work. This constant war is not healthy for us. It's not healthy for us. It's not healthy for our nation. It's not healthy for the human being.
You're right. I don't
So,
feel healthy. I feel so upset all the time.
okay. So
What should I
if
do, President? Mr.
so
President.
if we are serious about living a better life here, we have to start creating a different environment. We can't just say, let's unite.
But the
Let's
Republicans want to
let
cut down all the trees. What do you mean? We need an environment.
Okay, I'm saying first of all we have to start from creating an environment
What do you mean
that
an environment?
An environment, I mean that the media has a lot to do with it. An environment, I mean that education has
Like
a
a
lot to do
social
with it.
environment.
Yeah, like a social environment, how we
Because the other half
speak.
of the country just wants to destroy the whole earth, so we need to
Sure.
really stop them.
So, okay, you can keep going with
Okay, I can't.
these
It's hard to help
with these
myself, but
arrows. No, but see, the point is that if we want to start creating a different kind of coexistence, we can't start from where we disagree, which is what you're doing now. Which is, it's natural. It's only natural that we disagree, but we have to start from our common ground, and then we can build, and gradually we can even get to the point where we bring our disagreements together to the table, just like you do in a family. But first of all, we have to create an environment of a family. Right now we're at war, so there's no point in just saying let's connect, or let's unite, let's be better towards each other, if there's no plan to create an environment, to create the conditions. And it takes work to create the conditions for people to start actually feeling each other as more connected, as more dependent on each other, more open to hear each other, more respectful of each other, and so on. And lastly, can I add another point to
come on, I'm with
to
you
my?
now. You calmed me down. I'm listening.
No, I'm not sure. I see that the audience came with megaphones today, and there's a lot of hecklers in the audience.
Oh, really? On which channel? I only have our YouTube channel
No,
open.
I'm
What's
talking
going on?
about you. No, I'm
Oh.
kidding, man. No, the last point would be that would be something more for the, you know not for the common average public. The last point would
What do
be
you mean?
about, I don't know if you can take it, Seth.
Me personally? You're probably right.
No, I
But do
think
it for the sake do it for the sake
yeah,
of all our friends who are here.
the last point would be that unity is not something that we should do or need to do because it'll just, make our lives better. But this is something that is becoming a necessity by we're being pushed into finding that as the only solution, because we are all governed by a bigger government, bigger than the United States, bigger
No,
than
no, no.
my
Don't go weird on.
government.
Don't go weird
No,
on me. I'm
that
talking to you.
government
There's
is
350 million people in
th-
this country.
that
Don't go weird
government
on me.
is the governing laws of
The
nature.
Illuminati shadow
No,
government?
no,
Which
no,
government?
the governing laws of nature. That's it. And
Oh,
so, yes, humanity, and that's
wait.
where the educational part starts. That's
What does
already
my
be
hatred? What does
that,
my hatred for half the country have to
that's
do
that's beyond the
with
speech.
trees?
That's beyond the speech. So we'll
Oh,
have to
it's beyond
go
the
there.
speech.
It's beyond the speech. It's not right now in the as part of the speech. That's the educational program. The educational program. We can talk about the educational program, but I think you've
Let
had
me tell you,
I think you've had your fill. I think you had your fill for today.
speaking of educational programs, okay?
Yeah.
So kids, most of the kids here are virtual, are schooling virtually. Um, Imagine you're a
Yeah.
teacher, you show up to a Zoom class, and everyone's got their cameras closed. So it's just you talking with your camera open to 30 closed cameras. You know,
Yeah.
the issue that we have with democracy and all these things that you're talking about is that, if you run a good enough campaign, you can get everyone to vote for Mickey Mouse. I mean, if Mickey Mouse promises free food and free healthcare and free college, well, then I'm going to vote for Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
That's so it really is about education.
Yes.
It's really about, it's not just a solution without a method, because you say, well, I want peace. Okay, well, I guess you can just put everyone in jail and then there won't be any fights. That's also peace, right? You
No,
could say,
no.
well,
Wait. Let me stop you for 1 second.
okay,
I think it's good that some words of unity are being heard. I think it's
oh yeah,
good that
definitely.
I don't think it's a bad thing. This is it's something. It's something. It's refreshing to an extent, and this is why it gives you for a second. Even you know, you were listening to that
Even
speech.
me.
You know, even you were listening to that speech, and you were going like you said, I'm buying it. I'm buying it. That's good. It's good because it kind of gives us hope, gives us a sense that unity is something to strive for, that it is needed, that we can somehow do it. It's great that there's songs about it. You know what I'm saying? This is all good. It's not nothing, but without a fault, without a real method and an actual, teeth,
Hmm.
then
So
it's just
let me give you
nothing.
an
Yeah.
example.
Hmm.
Um, my kids have been schooling from home for over a year now.
Yeah.
Okay, on Zoom. There's been no uh, kind of global resources for kids on how to cope with emotionally, right? It's basically just like show up at math at 8:30 in the morning and open your camera, or don't open your camera because we can't make you open your camera, right? And do your assignments that we just sent you. Um, what the politicians, what the world leaders from the prior to the Great Transition were able to do was kind of force their thing on people, but not give an education. We were just talking about education. Like if in a democracy, people vote for whoever is going to give them the most stuff, whoever is going to do the best for them, and we see how we are so easily manipulated all of the time. Forget about just politics, but I didn't know I didn't even know I needed Oreo cookies, but now I have to. I didn't even know I needed that double cheeseburger, but now I've been thinking about it since I got to work this morning. Just whatever ads we see, like I didn't know that I needed a new car, but now with the interest rates there, and really, did you see how my phone links with it? And then I need to, and now constantly, constantly. So we're not yet, we here, the purpose of the show, what we're talking about is about this education. This is what a real leader of a country, of the world, of a community, of anything, this is what they need to provide. They need to provide tools, right? You go to school and you learn math for 12 years. You don't have one class on how to be in a long-term relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
How you're going about to have a baby. Did you take one class on how to have a baby? You took a lot of years of science and biology or whatever. Did you take any classes on what to do if you have a fight? What to do if the person you love and you're living with and you disagree with each other? This is my son sent me this morning. He's 14 years old. And can you see my screen right here?
I can see it it's small though.
Uh,
If you can make it bigger. I mean, I see it. I see it. Okay, I can make up
okay.
what it says.
Basically, this was
If
his first class at 8:30 this
if you
morning.
can zoom in, it'll
How
be good though. If you can zoom
mm,
in so we can. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
how to help. Basically, it was they were saying how to help a suicidal friend. Okay.
Oh.
So at 8:30 in the morning,
Mhm.
my son sends me this. He's like, what? He's 14 years old, and they're saying what to do if your friend is suicidal. Now,
Right.
that's worthwhile. If God forbid some kid has some, is really depressed or something, it's good to know, right? But what did you do for the last year to prevent people from feeling suicidal?
Yeah.
Like school. What did you do? You know,
Yeah.
everything, all of these things are
Mhm.
like coming afterwards. Like, let's have unity. Everybody hates each other. Here's a big band-aid, everyone. You know,
Exactly. Yes.
what are
So
you gonna do so that people don't hate each other all the time? What
exactly.
don't just give, all they're doing is giving a band-aid. Here's a band-aid. Oh, he's suicidal. Here's what to do. Call 911. Don't talk to him about this. Talk to him. No, what do you do? How do
Right.
you
So let's take the suicide example. Okay, let's take this. So suicide and depression, which is the most commonly associated um, disease with suicide. The in order
Wait,
to
wait, I didn't
fix
hear what you
that,
just said. You just said suicide's the biggest disease was suicide, I think. I don't
no,
know
I
if you.
said depression. I said suicide and depression. And this depression is, if I'm not wrong, the most commonly associated reason uh, with suicide.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
take
sad.
that. Yeah, take that for a second. So if you wanted to actually battle that, you would have to learn what is it in your, and we're seeing a, why did I bring up depression? Because depression is already more on a causal level, and it's one of, again, the most associated cause with suicide. So the if you see the rise of depression, then it's grown exponentially worldwide within the last decade. Exponential growth of depression, and with it suicide as an outcome, as one of the outcomes. Why is this happening? So first of all, you have to, and we won't get deep into depression and all that right now in a psychological manner, but just to just in terms of systemic thinking, system level thinking, right? If you want to solve the problem of depression and suicide, you got to understand what caused the spike. First of all, what caused the rise in depression rates? What is it in your environment that breeds more depression in people? And then you'll start associating the kind of uh,
Basically, all of the mandatory behaviors that the government is imposing on everybody is
all
exactly
kinds of
things that cause
things.
depression.
Yeah, you'll find economic reasons. You'll find, if it's in younger people, you'll find things that have to do maybe with
Financial.
self-esteem, financial, the bullying. They can be, again, it depends on many things. But the fact is that you have a rise, you have an exponential growth of that. You got to understand what's the problem with your environment that breeds that kind of growth of depression. So if we are talking about a society that is becoming increasingly divided, we have to see what is it in the environment that is more divisive. And then you'll probably find that you got to do something about the media, that you got to do something about social media, that you got to do something about education, that you got to do something about how the politicians conduct themselves, that you got to do something about the economy as well. You're gonna have to find that this is gonna take serious system level thinking and system level solutions and work in order to create a different kind of environment where people feel each other in a different way, respect each other, live with each other, and find a certain kind of deeper connection with each other. So if you would hear the president, any new president coming up with that and explaining, look, here's where we are, here's where we need to be, and we got to start working on all of these things, then I would buy it. But when you just say a few words to make you feel good, and now this singer will support my words, it just doesn't. Yeah.
There's a study. I don't know if Chris, you're able to find it. They put some mice into some cage and they gave them cocaine,
Hmm.
and and of course they had a party, and then they became addicted,
Fear and loathing in the cage.
and it was great.
Yeah.
And then they eventually killed themselves. I guess they just overdosed on it. Then they did another experiment. I don't know. We could find it and show it to everyone when we do. They did another one where they put a mouse in a cage, but gave him a lot of mouse friends and gave him lots of stuff to play with.
Hmm.
And he didn't go after the
Yeah.
cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see, I
Yeah.
didn't get a chance to read all. By the way, everyone who's here, we're kind of tracking the comments and questions and stuff in the Great Transition YouTube page. If you didn't know that, I know some people are watching us in other places, but if you want something, if you have a question or something, that would be a good place to put it. But I see the word heroin keeps coming up over here. So I didn't get a chance to read everything, but um, if we are feeling love, so back to these mice, they had mice friends and they had mice exercise,
Hmm.
like mice stuff to do. I just been sitting on my butt for months. It's terrible. We need to exercise it. It actually affects the mind and the
Sure.
emotions.
Sure it does. Yeah.
um
Yeah.
if you're feeling bad and you get up and just start jumping around and like put on your
Yeah.
favorite song, like your mood changes. Like you're so depressed, you need to bring yourself to do that, like not coercively but like
Yeah. Yeah.
like
And
put a
there's
post-it note there.
science to back it up as well. Yeah. Hmm.
So you're feeling down, mechanically put the song on and mechanically start dancing. Mice resist cocaine if they got stuff to do. There you go. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Where's it from if people wanted to see it? So um um yeah, so I saw the heroine there in the chat a few times. Like, if we're feeling loved, what does heroin stand up to love? What is any of these drugs? If we're feeling purpose in our life and we're feeling uh, cared and we have something to do and people care about us and we're caring
Yeah.
about people, that goes away, right? But instead, what do? It's the war on drugs, you
Yeah.
know we're going to fight against it. We're going to do this. Instead of heroin, we're going to give them methadone. Instead of that, we're going to do that. We're going to take it away from them. We're going to put them in jail, or we're going to put them in a clinic. What we need to do is give them a life, create a life for people where people feel cared for, where people feel they have purpose, where people feel if they go to work all day long in a country where there's plenty of money, plenty of food, plenty of land, plenty of in a world where there's plenty of money, plenty of food, plenty of land, plenty of everything, and yet I'm
Okay.
working all day long and my spouse is working all day long and we're in debt, and if I work for the next 15 years, I won't be able to pay off all my debt, right? I'm going to go to the grave passing my debt on to my kids. And what? Give me a better option besides heroin. I don't have one.
So, so here's what's
Mr.
gonna.
President.
So as your president, I would tell you that here is what you know. What I think, if there was any true leader who also understands where the world is going to, they'd be just telling the truth and just laying the path forward. Uh, in our time, we've grown in our ego, and in our desire for fulfillment, in our need to be satisfied. We've grown so much to the point that, and we are so divided. So we need pleasure beyond anything that previous generations needed, and we are so unique, individually divided from each other, separated from each other, more than any other generation before us. So we're coming to the point where we cannot achieve a good life right here in this world without finding connection between us and with the source of life itself, with the source of the pleasure. And so we're going to see how in the near future, we're going to see how, just like the pandemic, more and more problems are going to push us to this awakening, to this recognition. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that you mentioned, um, it's at the end of the day, the core problem is that we don't have the right purpose to life. We don't have a good enough goal that all human beings can strive for. And under that goal, we can actually come together above our differences, despite our differences. We can start to see we need a goal that is capable of bringing all of the different shapes and colors and political views and what have you. All of the different pieces of the puzzle can come together for that goal. We don't have such a goal. That's the real problem, and that's also what's causing depression and emptiness, and that hole in the soul that so many people feel. It's two birds with one stone. If we had a I'm just going to call it a spiritual goal to human life that we all
Can you say
understood.
something else besides spiritual? Because probably our friends
Yeah,
here
sure.
get what you're saying, but it's good training for us to figure out how to
I
say it in a way that
agree.
everybody can
I
understand.
I agree. We need a goal that is higher than the material
No,
life
still,
in this
try
world.
again. Now, I want you to hit all of my
Uh,
receptors, but I want
th-
you to do it you can't do it
it's
with words like that.
the goal needs to be in a, I can you know I can try to hit all kinds of points. I bet that some
No,
people will
say what
feel
you're
different
talking
points.
about a goal. You're talking about a goal, but don't say the word spiritual. Don't say higher. Talk to me about it in a way that I can hold it in my hand, that I
The,
know what I need to do, why I need to
the
do it.
easiest thing is you want to feel fulfilled. You want to feel happy in life. You don't want to be rich. You don't want to
Yes,
be
I do.
this. No, that's what you think you do. What you
No,
actually
I do.
want
Don't
is to
you
be
you're not going to
is
be a
to,
good salesman if you tell someone you don't want to be rich. No, everyone
I'm not
wants to be rich. Try and say it in a different way.
so
I want you to sell me. Sell me on
I'm
this,
I'm
please.
not pitching it right now, but I will for you.
Okay, well,
The, the
if we're no, if we're sitting around the table in the office talking about the concept, that's one thing, but I'm talking about the pitch. I want to hear it in a way that's
you're gonna have to speak to people differently. You're gonna have to talk to every person where they are. You're gonna have to use everything you know about advertising and marketing
I
that
know
you've
nothing
used.
about those things.
Yeah, I'm talking about you as in the world.
Oh, okay.
Whatever, everything we know that we've learned with the goal of exploiting each other and getting us hooked on material goals and getting us afraid of our for our social status and all kinds of things like that. We're gonna have to use these systems to educate ourselves. We're gonna have to use them to elevate ourselves. Now, for some people, hearing that a greater goal in life um, can be love. That could be something that speaks to them. For other people, it could be something else. The point is that you're gonna have to find a way for people to bring bring their differences together. And for that, you need a higher goal. What is your current goal? Is one side's goal is to kill the others, is to win against the other
So let
side.
me ask you a question then. What
Yeah.
if my goal and your goal are contradictory?
Exactly. On
So how
one
are
le-
we supposed to unite?
No, 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 no. You see, that's where, okay, thank you. That's where this is more helpful. Thank the your liver and your lungs, they can't have uh, a different overarching goal. They can have their own individual function, individual goal in what they do for the body, but they all have to work for the body. That's not for you to choose. This is La La Land speaking. If you think that no, we can forever just do whatever we want and everyone can do whatever they want, no, we got to learn what nature wants from us. We're in a system, the natural system, just like COVID influence, can infect you whether you like it or not. Just like the climate doesn't take into account what you feel like you want it to be. It just responds dynamically to the stuff that you're doing and the stuff that you're thinking. By the way, the nature is a system that is designed to take you to a certain level of evolution. You're not going to run away from that. So, the sooner we educate ourselves about nature's goal and start aligning our aspirations and our goal with that, then we will learn that actually our our unique differences, our unique qualities, our unique view on life is required. It's
Oh, so now,
necessary.
okay, so now you're
I'm
igniting
not
something in
I'm
me.
not eliminating what you think or feel
No, because
or do,
it sounded at
but I
first
am
like
saying there has to be a goal that we share. There has to be a goal that we share, and it will come not from a politician. It will come not from some speech. It will come from a recognition of the natural system that has brought us up to this point and where it wants to take us from here onwards. That's where it's going to
when
come from.
you were saying that no, I can't have whatever I want. At first I thought you're trying to limit me, and immediately, I feel rejection inside. I think that's what everyone would do. As soon as you start to tell someone you can't have something, you
I
immediately
didn't say
start
you
to
can't
feel.
have something. I
Let me hear what
said
I heard, okay?
I well, no.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm gonna be specific about it
Okay.
because I think it makes a difference. I said that you don't really want to be rich, and and
Oh, you're
no. I don't care what you say. This is true. This is
no, but I
true.
know, but
You
it's not good marketing to talk like
no.
that.
I don't care about micro marketing. That's a whole different discussion. You don't want to be rich. You
What do I
want
want?
to be fulfilled. You want to be
Ah,
happy. In some
okay.
country, in one part of the world, they
I
will
do
tell
that by
you
being rich.
you do that by having a huge house. In another
Right.
part of the world, you do
Right.
that by having a huge bowl of cockroaches for dinner.
Uh-huh.
In another
Right.
part of the world, you do that by having all your village together around a bonfire. In different places, times, and culture, being happy meant different things. Today, if you have many zeros in your bank account, maybe you think about that as happiness. But you know what? I think the children of today already don't really associate happiness with that. So, happiness is what we're looking for, fulfillment is what we're looking
So we
for.
need
Uh,
we need something that unites. Okay. So what we need
there's
then
no
is a
problem with
goal.
being rich. I'm just saying that we don't understand the mechanism that actually drives us. That's what I'm saying.
Right. We want to be fulfilled, and it can come in lots of different clothings. So
Yes.
so
But
so up.
so
Yes.
the highest form of fulfillment,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not I'm not
I already know I'm not going to like your answer. So try
yeah,
again.
that's what I'm saying. You're not going to like my answer, but I don't care at the moment.
Okay.
Because it'll help us complete the story
Okay.
here.
Okay.
The
Bring it on.
highest form of fulfillment, the greatest pleasure there is, the greatest, best, lasting, continuous pleasure.
Sex.
There no sex.
Money.
How is sex lasting?
Okay. Money.
Money. You have 100.
Fame.
You want 200.
Fame.
Fame. You have you have 1,000 likes. You want 1,000,000 likes.
Honor.
You always get used to it. Honor. You have a thousand again. 1,000 likes. Same thing.
Okay. So what?
Why do the famous people? They it's the famous people who develop
I heard Justin Bieber's depressed.
depression and right.
Yeah. I heard the Biebs is depressed.
So the all of these forms of pleasure that we are familiar with through our egoistic world, in our egoistic in our bodily five senses, all of these fulfillments suffer from what psychologists refer to as hedonic adaptation. We get used to them. We get used to them. We don't, we're fed up with it. The lasting kind of pleasure, the highest form of pleasure, the sublime pleasure that
No, no,
we
don't tell them. Don't tell them.
actually
Tell them they have to come back on
want,
Sunday to get the answer.
is what we'll talk about on Sunday. Nice. I like that. That's a good point.
Now you're getting marketing.
That's great. That's a good point. That's a good point. And if you get that kind of pleasure, you will suddenly discover and see and feel that even with whatever cards you were dealt with in your life, you will it goes beyond that. It doesn't even matter who you are and what you are and where you're from and how much you have. If you have that, you can be happy beyond boundaries.
Okay, so now we come to the education. Now we come to educating, right? These fundamental things, right? I can base my entire life off of getting that Ferrari. I can base my entire life on getting that trophy wife. I can base, or, it could be something more noble, quote unquote, more noble than that. I'm using examples, but I
Sure.
could base my entire life on that penthouse apartment. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be about solving, curing disease. It's not, it's, the point is that without proper education, we spend our entire lives chasing some vain, or, whatever, some kind of fulfillment, but it doesn't make us any different than any other animal, any other creature. Just you live your 100 years, and that's it, and you go into the ground. It's over. So with the new kind of education, we can start to understand who we are. We can start to understand what are these forces inside of me that are pushing me forward. And then we can understand how much of these things that are operating me are just my animal uh, instincts. And then we start to see that as humanity, we can't survive just as animals because we're killing each other. Not only are we killing each other, we're killing the planet that we're on, and we're headed straight into a war. And the
Yeah.
virus is raging. There's 4,000 dead people yesterday in America from the virus. The virus is getting worse, even, it seems like, right? And everything is raging. And then we come to some new kind of education. We start to understand, oh, what is this system? What are all, it was as if I was like a little child and I was just chasing my Legos. And now all of a sudden I learned there's a whole big world out there. And here we are. Now we
Nature
start to understand.
nature's going to help us. Nature's going to help us. Evolution will help us. Look, it's not that ethereal. Evolution, is the process by which nature brings one level of being to a higher level of being. It's the process by which, the fish becomes a monkey, by which the monkey becomes human, by which the human becomes a more advanced human. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. It's not that far. Through everything that is happening to us, we're gonna see that the way to go forward to our next state, to a better state, has to do with us actually working on our connection, not just saying, giving speeches about unity and then going back, and then the day after going back, the second after going back to the same kind of reality that breeds divisiveness and mutual hatred. Rather, we have to use our conscious capacities that we were given by nature as human beings to start rising above our egos in a conscious manner, building an environment that will constantly raise us, elevate us, that will constantly remind us that we're connected, that will constantly help us find that deeper, better, bigger pleasure that exists in through that narrow slit, that we narrow opening that we get into when we actually start feeling each other as one. But we'll talk about that on Sunday, I guess. um
Thank you for an amazing hour, man. What a
with
great,
we've had a nice
that
push
was
and pull
nice.
today.
Let me just say over here, I see a couple things I wanted to touch on. Ahmed asked, is will the Islamic world accept Kabbalah as a Jewish method? Ahmed, um, we need to really open even where did this method come from. It's not about any religion. The only thing we're talking about is laws of nature. The people who found this were not religious people. It comes from even before that, it got passed through. But if you're not familiar with Kabu, maybe someone here can give you a link over there. And then I saw, oh, Yetzi said the War on Drugs is a great band, and that I also agree. If you saw, my favorite one off the latest album was Strangest Thing. Wow, what a cool song! Amazing. Okay. Anyway. Um, um, okay. Thank you, everybody. Amazing day. I know Chris was half had to deal with some work today. So if there was questions here, I'm just scrolling through to see if we missed anything.
Slightly
Um,
slanted sleuth said, "Nature is automatic; it doesn't take sides." It's a nice way of putting it, but I would say you could also look at it differently, and you can say nature's taking all sides. That's the thing with nature. See, nothing is left out, nothing is erased. We're not going to be able to, take one part of society and ignore the other for a few years, and then do the other thing with the other side. All pieces, all parts of society, all parts of humanity, all parts of the human being within you as well, they all have to contribute to that greater goal, to that greater state of the most sublime kind of pleasure that we need to achieve. Just like no cell in your body is redundant. So, yeah. We should play a song, Seth.
yeah. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Big hug. We wish we could just hug everybody. This is an incredible journey we're on. It's going to be quite a year. We're going to make it through. We're going to understand what's happening, how we can approach it, and how we can rise to that pleasure beyond all of these clothings where everybody from every religion, every culture, every sexual orientation, everything, everybody fits. Nature does not take sides. Everybody belongs. Everybody was made specifically so that together we can do this, and that's what we're going to do. So we'll see you Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Yes, Sunday, 2 p.m.
Okay.
Eastern, the great transition. We will be there.
See you, everyone.
We wanna know what makes your heart sing. We do. We wanna know does connection get you boiling? We do. We want you to know that you make our heart sing. You do. And we need you to know this connection got us boiling. We do. We come to tell you of the future. Teach is love by one and all. We spend our days doing good to others, and we all come to be as one. We wanna know, do it make your heart sing? We do. We wanna know if we can sing this love song to you. We want you to know that you make our hearts sing. You do. And we need you to know we sing this song to bring joy to you. We are living in a world of love. We are singing all in one song of love. The reason for living is to be giving love. In the beginning and in the end, there is only love.